Hi students, this is part 2 of our chapter number 2, that is components of our food. Okay, in first part we have discussed why do we need food, what is available in the food, that is nutrients. We have also studied the different types of nutrients. Okay, so if you remember, there were 5 types of nutrients present in the food. They were carbohydrates, fats, proteins, minerals and vitamins, and also there were dietary fibers and water. Okay, so today we are going to discuss different taste of these nutrients. We are going to check whether a kind of nutrient is present in the food or not. Okay, so there are 3 tests given in your book. The first is test for starch. Okay, you might have seen, we have seen that the carbohydrate is of 2 types. First is starch and sugar. Okay, so we are going to test whether there is the starch is present in the food or not in the first test. Then the second test will be for protein and the third will be for fat. Okay, so first test is for starch. So how can we test the starch? Look, take a small quantity of food item or raw ingredient. Means the rice may be of 2 kind. Okay, there may be a raw rice and cooked rice. Okay, we can take anything, we can take raw rice or cooked rice. Then what we have to do, we have to put 2 to 3 drops of dilute iodine solution. Okay, we discussed that solution in last video. How to make it, we have discussed it. So we can add 2 to 3 drops of dilute iodine solution, then observe there is any change in color or not. Okay, we have to see, we know that the rice is of white color, but whenever we add the dilute iodine solution, if its color changes, then we have to see for it. Okay, and if it changes, then was it bluish black color? Okay, we have to see it. If there is bluish black color, then it is the indication of presence of starch. Look here, the blue black color indicates that it contains starch. If it converts into bluish black color, then the starch is present there. Now let us see a video.
Today we will conduct an experiment to test the presence of starch in potato, rice, sugar and salt. For this, we will need iodine solution, which is yellow-brown in color. Note the change in the color of iodine as it is put on the rice and potato. Both turn the iodine blue-black. Put some iodine on the sugar cubes. The color does not change. Salt too does not change its color. This proves that sugar and salt do not contain starch, while the starch in rice and potato reacts with iodine to form a blue-black compound.
Now let us test for the protein. Okay, now what is the procedure? Let us see. Take a small quantity of food item or for testing. Okay, whatever the food we need to test, that we have to take, we will take a small quantity of it. The food you want to test, if it is a solid, then you can make a paste or powder of it. Okay, for example, if there is solid food, for example, if you are checking the protein in groundnuts, okay, then you have to make a paste of it or you can make a powder of it. Okay, you can grind them. Okay, then what will we do? Put some of this in a clean test tube and 10 drops of water to it and shake the test tube well. So what will we do? We will take the powder or paste of that groundnut or whatever the food available in the test tube, and we will add 10 drops of water to it and we will shake it well. Okay, so proper solution can be made. Then what we have to do? Now using a dropper. What is dropper? Let us see. This is the dropper. Look here, this thing is dropper, and it is used to collect a small quantity of solutions, and then we can add that solution into this test tube. This is test tube. Okay, so by the dropper, what will we do? 2 drops of solution of copper sulfate and 10 drops of solution of caustic soda. Okay, there are 2 solutions or chemicals. We have already discussed about them in first video. So let us once again see. In that test tube we have to add 2 drops of solution of copper sulfate. Copper sulfate solution will be there. We can add 2 drops of it to the test tube, and 10 drops of which solution? Caustic soda. Now caustic soda is general name, and the chemical name of caustic soda is sodium hydroxide. So if somewhere sodium hydroxide is written instead of this caustic soda, then don't be confused, they both are same. Okay, caustic soda is sodium hydroxide. Okay, so we can add them, and then what we have to do, let us see. Then shake well and let the test tube stand for few minutes. We have to shake the test tube very well, and then we will allow it to be stable for few minutes, and then we have to see for change of color. Okay, if it turns out to be violet color, okay, violet color will be there, then it shows the presence of protein in that food item. It indicates that protein is present in that food item. The color should be violet. Okay, in case of taste of protein, the violet color is there. And which color was there in case of starch? It was bluish black color. Okay, so don't be confused. Now let us see another video of this test for protein.
Today, our aim of experiment is to identify the presence of protein by a chemical test. Here, the chemicals required to start an experiment is sodium hydroxide, copper sulfate, milk, egg. From egg we have taken a egg white. The equipment we required here is boiling test tube, test tube rack, dropper, spatula, a glass rod. Now we will proceed our experiment here. First, I am going to take an empty boiling test tube. In this, I am going to add little amount of milk. I am going to add a little amount of copper sulfate solution into it. Followed by a little ml of sodium hydroxide solution. Now here you can immediately find a change in color of the milk. Use your glass rod to shake the milk. Now here you can see the appearance of violet color, and this color is indicative of presence of protein. You can see the violet color here. This color, as proteins are present in the milk, so we got a violet color over here. Now I am going to repeat the same experiment with water. Take an empty test tube, add water into it, repeat the experiment by adding few ml of copper sulfate followed by sodium hydroxide solution. As you can see, there is no change in the color. There is no appearance of violet color over here. As water doesn't contain such type of protein, so the appearance of violet color is absent over here. Whereas milk contain proteins, so we got a violet color over here. I'm going to repeat the same experiment with egg white. Take little amount of egg white. Thank you. Copper sulfate solution. Sodium hydroxide solution. Use a glass rod to shake the sample. Now compare your samples over here. Here we got a violet color in milk, violet color in egg white, and no change in water. So this, as proteins are present in egg white and milk, as we know, so we got a appearance of violet color. As proteins are absent in water, so there is no change in the water.
Now let us test for the presence of fat in the food. We need to check out whether the fat is available in the food or not. So how can we check out? Here is the procedure. What can we do? We can take the small quantity of food that we want to check about, and we can take a paper and we will crush that food into paper. Okay, for example, if you are having groundnuts, okay, so you can take some groundnuts into a paper, you can crush them in the paper and then take out the paper and check whether some oily patch are seen on that paper or not. So how can you see that oily patch? Okay, so take that paper to the sunlight or whatever the artificial light available in your room. Okay, you will clearly see some translucent part of the paper. That is nothing but what? That oily patch. This oily patch they show the presence of fat in that food. Okay, now what we do sometime, if the food we cannot crush directly, so what will we do? We will make a paste of it. So we will crush it, we will make powder form of it, and then we will add some water to it and we will make a paste. Now that paste we will try to add on that paper. Okay, whatever paper we are having, we will add that paste on that paper. So initially there will be some patches you will see on that paper, but they are not due to the fat. We have added some water, so that patches are due to that water. So if we are following this procedure, we have to let the paper dry for some time, and after drying, even though there are some patches available, then that patches will be of fat. Okay, are you getting? Here we are going to see a video. In that we are going to check whether the fat is available in it or not. Let us see video.
Vegetable oil is 100% fat. A simple test is to rub a sample onto a piece of paper and then allow the paper to dry. Hold it in front of a light and a translucent mark indicates the presence of fat. To find out if any of these foods contain fat, first grind the solid food samples in distilled water. A small amount of the liquid from each sample is then smeared onto a filter paper and left to dry. They all look translucent to start with because they're wet, so it's important to leave them to dry for a few minutes. Here are the results. Only the nuts contain fat.
Now besides these three nutrients that are fat, protein and starch or carbohydrate, okay, there are also vitamins and minerals, but the tests are not given in your book to check their presence, okay, so we will not go through them. Then what is there? Look, one table is given in your book. Look here, this one. Different food items are there. For example, raw potatoes are there, milk is there, groundnut is there, uncooked powdered rice are there, cooked rice are there, dry coconut is there. So these are all some food items. We have to perform all three tests on this food item and check whether the starch, protein or fat is present in there or not, and we need to fill out this table. But right now we cannot do it because we are not in the school. So whenever we will meet in the school, we will perform all these tests on all these food items and we will try to fill this table.